Hello, this is Transformers fan G138, and I'm here with a video review of Marvel's Death's Head. And this is a really cool character. We'll say that because he was included in Transformers UK comics. He was developed by Simon Furman for the Transformers, but he was published in Marvel Works just so they could own the copyright. And at long last, they have produced a really cool figure in the approximate scale. So, story goes, Rodimus Prime hired him to kill Galvatron. Then he ended up stopping him, so then Galvatron hired him to kill Rodimus, and then eventually Rodimus rehired him to kill Scourge and Cyclonus. So yeah, he's a mechanoid, basically robot body type thing, designed for some psychic mage or something. I don't have the package or bio with me at the moment, but he was then given life after the body was stolen, so he now roams as a freelance, how shall I put this, I'm sorry, freelance peacekeeping agent. Yeah, and he always ends sentences with questions. So, the actual figure now. This is pretty neat. He's got a nice rubberized cape here. The whole thing is just loose sitting on his neck, so I'm sure you could pop his head off and take this off if you wanted to for whatever reason. But overall nice. He's got that mechanical look on his arms. He's got some decent motion. He's got his shield that clips on his wrist. He's got this spiky thing. And his axe, which has some really cool detail on it. If we look at, if this will focus. There we go. So, the axe is pretty cool. Shield also has a lot of stuff on it. There we go. And, as a feature, in the comics, often his weapons replaced his hands. So we can actually pop his hands off, and the way they're designed, these can pop in place. So you can actually have his weapons in place of his hands, like in the comics. So that's cool. Nice, very cool to have that feature. Take that all off. And I have them holding the weapons usually on my shelf just so I don't misplace the hands. But pretty cool bounty hunter-like character. And, as a fun fact, there was a nod to this guy in Transformers Animated. There's a reason Lockdown's ship was called the Death's Head. And that is as a reference to this guy in Transformers lore, as well as the Samus guns on Lockdown's ship referenced Samus Aran. And then there's a couple others I don't remember off the top of my head, but those are some of the more notable ones. So, this guy has a nice way to store his weapons if you really wanted to. I don't particularly love it, but the shield can clip in kind of to the cape. It works okay. It's a very soft plastic, like more like action figure plastic, well, because he is an action figure, but get my drift. And then his weapons just tab into the two tabs inside the shield. So you can have him have his weapons sticking out of his back like that. Which is always good. The head sculpt is pretty awesome. Here, if we can get a nice zoomed in look. There we go. He's got his nice red horns. He's got his yellow teeth here. and his awesome red and yellow eyes. Now, there was a small issue I had with mine. I don't know if you can see it too well. But right here on his chin, whatever glue or paint they used kind of ran. And so it's got like it looks like water or drool or something. I'm not sure if that's an issue or whatnot, but it looks fine from a distance. It's just something I noticed. Now the legs are on some sort of ball joint, I think. But the motion is hindered significantly by the molded battle skirt stuff. The warmer it is, the easier it is to move, but whatnot. The knee is cool, double jointed, doesn't quite go 90, it goes over 90 degrees. The foot swivels. The hips swivel. Upper arm swivel. Nice 90-degree joint on the arm. Hands rotate fully around. Then you have the head. It's on a ball socket joint type thing. Kind of a hinged and ball and socket. It's got like two things in there. It's kind of neat. So he's got a nice range of motion on the head. The only thing I'm not a fan of is the way the boot is molded. So when you have him standing straight, it looks really odd here. It's molded so his foot should always be looking like that. I would prefer if the boot wasn't turned, and because realistically that looks just as fine over here, but there's something about this I just don't like. And yeah, the legs aren't even symmetrical, but not a fan of it. The upper chest is just part of his cape, but underneath it exists. Maybe somebody else who's more familiar with the Marvel toys can tell me why there's tabs in here and also on the back. Unknown to me, I don't know why that is, what would go there, or why they would be there, but they are there. They're the same type of tab you would find on the bottom of a figure foot, so he could plug onto a stand. So I'm not sure if that they have stands like that. I don't know. He does have a waist swivel, as well as one up in the body. He's got a nice dual hinge here in the shoulder. Forgot about that one. And he wouldn't stand up well if it wasn't for his cape. Right down here, the bottom of his cape hits the floor, or the ground, and keeps him very sturdy. Now, saved by the cape. So the only thing I'm missing here is to show him off next to Galvatron. Now, if we look at scale for a second, compared to some deluxe class Transformers, in focus, preferably. Here's a Rodimus toy. So he's roughly in scale with the Deluxe Class Transformers. He was a little bit shorter than everyone in the comic. Marvel has since rescaled him, so he's the size of a regular human. But that works out toy-wise for the Transformers. So here he is with the Legion's class figure, one of the more recent ones, so you can get a nice height scale. He, just over the height of that. The average retail price of this guy should be $9.99, give or take, whatever people put on it. I got mine for $17.99 on Amazon. I bought the last one they had in stock. I had the hardest time finding this guy. I don't know why, but I don't follow the Marvel toy releases well at all. I just happened to notice this guy was like, oh, wow, Death's Head. I gotta pick that guy up. So that's why I have him. He's a really cool character, and he looks really good in the shelf with the Transformers. Having a non-transforming character, finally, is pretty cool. If you're interested in this kind of thing, the club is Transformers Collectors Club is doing Marissa Fairborn, but she's going to be out of a G.I. Joe scale figure, which is approximately the same scale as this. However, she's a human, and she won't be in scale with the Transformers at all. So that's where I frown upon that one a bit, but it'll still be neat to see. And with that, that concludes my talking portion. Now it's the rating. Well, what did I give this guy? So I had to mod my rating scale a little bit, because most everything I have out of my thing, and my rating scale here, applies. Transformation obviously didn't. So I crossed that one out, and instead of dividing by 8 at the end, during my averaging, I'm just averaging the rest of them. So I have accuracy at 10, because he looks pretty spot on with the comics, definitely. Paint, I don't see any paint issues at all. There's just that one glue thing, but the paint is pristine. So you got a 10 there. Weapons, spot on yet again, so he's got a 10. Joints, I gave him an 8, because when I first got him, all the joints were kind of fused, so nothing would move. Like, it would bend, but it wouldn't move. So after it went, it snap a couple times, it broke whatever paint was dried. This is a metallic paint on whatever surface he's molded in. After it went snap, and loosened up a bit, he can now move around pretty freely. But when I first got him out of the package, it took a lot to break that paint. So I gave him a 8 on that. Posability, I gave him a 7. That is because of the skirt down here getting in the way. It's not terrible. I mean, you can still put him in some pretty cool poses, but this does get in the way. If this was a more accurate, per se, when these pieces were actually pieces, it might work a little better, but since it's molded plastic, soft plastic at that, it doesn't quite work. But still looks really nice. So, that I gave him a 7 on. Sturdiness, he got a 9, because if he didn't have the cape, he would be back heavy like you wouldn't believe. Other issues, I gave him a 9, just because nothing's really ever perfect. I do have a little bit of complaint, like how easily this is to move instead of just snapping in place. Overall, really, really nice figure. Everything averages out to 9. Don't know how it averaged out to 9, but it ended at 9. Exact. So, we have an awesome Death's Head bounty hunter. Peacekeeping agent. Freelance peacekeeping agent. Death's Head. Here he is. Hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. And I'm sure I had something else to say, but there goes my train of thought. You like? Yes?